Hi everyone. I'm just letting it go and go live so it notifies you that we're live, and then I've been watching the count of people go up. So we have quite a few. We're growing. Welcome to Kensington Live, guys. We're doing this every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday night at 7 p.m. So I'm happy that you're here watching with us. We have the cast of Voodoo You Do tonight. We'll talk about that in a second. But thanks for watching. You can be watching either on Facebook Live or on YouTube through Kensington Theatre Company. So either one, wherever you're watching, is fine. But I say this every time. This is live, and things might go wrong. Who knows? And because we're live, if something goes wrong and we disconnect from one of the places, whether we disconnect from Facebook, which happened once, or if we disconnect from YouTube, just go to the other one, okay? So before you're like, I can't watch this great episode of Kensington Live, don't give up yet, go to the other one, okay? And check if we're still streaming on that. They just have said that there's so many people doing live streams, and that's so great. I love that we're able to connect in this way. So if for some reason something happens, go to the other one. Also, you can be watching and comment, wherever you are, Facebook or on YouTube, and comment. We want to know your favorite stories, if you remember the show, or we'll talk about the stream in a second, but what your favorite parts of the show were, what funny thing you liked, or this or that, or if you have any questions for any of the people that I bring up, put them in the comments, and I'll put them up on the screen, okay? So wherever you are, comment. We love it. And last thing is, if you haven't been keeping up with all of our Kensington Live broadcasts, you can go back and watch all of them, either on Kensington Theatre Company's Facebook or on YouTube. They're all on there. You can go back and watch them. We've had a lot of fun. We've had spit takes. We've had people on zip lines. We've had improvinators doing all sorts of stuff. We raised like $200 million or something one night, so it was amazing. And you won't get that joke unless you go find what episode it's in and find it, and then comment, and I'll give you a mention. I don't know what. Anyways, it's been a lot of fun. Go back and watch them. This week on Thursday, we're going to be doing a Little Shop reunion with both casts from 2010 and from just now in 2020. So you'll want to come back. It's going to be a lot of fun with some fun people. And then, of course, Saturday night at 7 p.m., we're doing Improvinators again. So this is our third week of Improvinators, and it has been so much fun. So come back. Join us. We're trying to bring some laughter and some levity to the situation that we're in right now, and hopefully you're able to connect with us, some familiar faces when you might be staying home and staying safe. So last thing is, I said this every time, is we're all in this together. Yeah, cue the dancing. I know. Okay, yeah. People are dancing backstage. I know. Everybody always dances. But really, we are all in this together. And will you just make sure that you reach out to 3 people? It doesn't have to be the same 3 people every day, or it can be the same 3 people every day. But just reach out and make sure that they're doing okay, and just make sure that we're all doing okay. These are crazy, unprecedented times. So will you reach out to 3 people and just make sure? All right. We're here with the cast of Voodoo You Do, and I'm going to let them talk about it and whatnot. But there was something really cool, and hopefully those of you that are watching participated in what we did yesterday. We put up a recording of the show that they recorded back in 2013 up on the Kensington Theatre Company YouTube. And so you could go on and stream this show, hilarious show, yesterday and through today. Spoiler, it's still up there, and I probably won't take it down until tomorrow. So if you want to, after this, be like, what are they talking about? What was Rob's dancing? What was this? Yeah, you're going to want to go watch it. Okay, so go find it on Kensington Theatre Company's YouTube and watch it. So much fun, and we're so lucky that we were able to do that. I think it's so great, almost like a talk back tonight. Once hopefully you've all watched it, and we can reminisce, and it's fresh in our brains. I got some comments coming in. Oh look, yay! The show was so good. I love it. Michelle, Logan, you should change stuff around in your background every time and see if we notice the difference. That would be funny. And you won't ever know if I actually did. Or maybe you will. I don't know. Oh, and they loved Rob's dance. Yeah, we'll talk about Rob's dance because it's a good part. I know. People are laughing backstage. All right, let's do this. Let's bring on first. This is an original story, and I want to bring on the person who created it, Annie Pulsifer.
Hello.
Hi, Annie. How are you?
I am doing well in my basement of solitude.
I am so glad that you are here. So we're going to talk to you, and then we'll talk to some of the cast. But I want to first know, how did this? This story is so great, and you did such a great job writing it. It's so well written. But how did what came first for the idea? How did you craft this together?
Okay, so I first wrote this play in like 2011, 2012 as part of like a playwriting workshop at BYU. And it's funny sometimes to go back and look at the old drafts because it was very, very different. It was kind of weird and magical and like, I mean, it still is weird and magical, but like in a more serious way, like family drama meets dark comedy. But then at some point in the writing process, I think based on feedback and based on my natural hamminess, because I like telling jokes, there was like a note that I got that was like, how about you try to make it a true farce? Like, I think you're thinking too hard about the like, is the house really alive or is there ghosts? Or like, you're thinking too hard about those things. Maybe just make it a farce. And I was like, okay, I could try that. And there was actually this great exercise we did in my theater workshop where we like set up the stage and we put in as many entrances and different places, like windows and things that could open and shut, and just said, so just play a game then of like taking your little figures and making them go in and out and in and out and like recombining and changing who's in love with who and like see if you can still make that make plot sense. And so I did, and I rewrote it and put it up as a workshop at BYU. And then it won this kind of cool prize that they have there. And kind of out of the blue, because I was not expecting Butler to do it. I think Katie, my sister, shared it with her, and Butler was like, oh, I like it. And so did it. And I was very flattered and complimented, especially because I had not much to do with the process other than writing it. I was just like, oh, you did it. Thanks.
Was it what you envisioned? I mean, maybe you did the workshop, but was it different this than the workshop?
It was very different from the workshop just because the workshop is a pretty static thing. And it was just so lovely to see it alive because it's all, I mean, the house is alive and seeing that in motion was so fun. I don't know. That's probably my favorite part about playwriting. It's why I kind of moved from acting to playwriting, just that I find it so delightful to like imagine something in your head and then have people create it and be like, oh, that's different than I expected, but better. Sometimes worse, but mostly better.
I love it. Did in the process of writing it, did any characters get added that were in the show that we're going to talk about today, or were any taken out that were originally in the show?
A lot of characters, their nature changed a lot. Like Lindsay wasn't originally much of a villain, and I feel bad that she kind of had the weight of villainy put upon her. Like originally her and Brian had an actual like kind of nuanced relationship that was very like, we break up a lot, but we love each other. And there was this whole tempestuous thing. And then I'm like, oh no, she's gradually becoming more and more of a villain. But I don't know. I found it to be quite fun. And she was the one who suited that role best.
And it's such a fun role. It was,
yeah, I think it's fun. The other role that kind of like expanded and that delighted me in the way it expanded was Moy's role. Moy originally was much more like was Spanish. In fact, originally he only spoke Spanish, so he changed a lot. That originally he was only speaking Spanish, and I speak Spanish a little bit, but I had at this time I was living in the BYU Spanish housing, and I had a friend who was helping me with the Spanish dialogue, and it was just so difficult sometimes to know if I was actually being funny or grammatically correct. That he was like, why don't you make it actually that he doesn't speak Spanish? There's plenty of Hispanic people who don't actually speak Spanish, and it's actually kind of funny when they assume that we do. And he like told me about some of his experiences with this, and I'm like, I love that. Actually, I think that's kind of fun to explore like the cultural assumptions that people have.
And his character is so funny because of it. So I think it's well written.
Yeah. I think I was very delighted with how Rob played that part.
I love it. Well, maybe we should bring Jill on. She's like, oh, what? Hi, Jill.
I'm like trying to hurry and swallow.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'll take you out. You can swallow. Okay, yeah, get ready. All right, now she's fine.
I'm good.
So, Jill, you directed this show.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sure you were maybe asked to direct, or maybe you offered. I don't know. How did you get involved directing?
Do you know, honestly, I don't know. I can't remember. I had done a couple shows, and I had expressed to Tony that I wanted to direct, and I think she saw this as a perfect chance to give me a little bit of space.
I'm encouraging Logan. I'm giving him cues like she's right on track.
She's correct.
Tell me if I answer all the questions right, Tony. And so, and this was perfect because for me, as my debut as directing, like there was no expectations. Nobody was going to compare this to anything else that they'd seen before. So that was fun. But so that's kind of how I got involved. I think Tony was kind of giving me a trial run as a director, like, hey, let's see if she can do this show that. But it was really fun. Like if that's going to be your first show, to have a show that's original, it was amazing because it was like I just got to interpret it the way I wanted to, which is funny that I didn't talk to Annie more now that I think about it. Like I probably should have talked to you, Annie, and said,
I was very busy at the time. I was finishing up my last semester and like writing a thesis or something.
Oh, okay.
I just remember being like, oh, wait, they're doing that. I should go see that.
I know. Well, and I feel like I never talked to you. I never really talked to you after. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious. I was curious how you thought, like if we portrayed it the way that you had intended, but maybe you didn't. It'd be kind of fun to see this show put on by another cast with another director, just to kind of see what takes they would take on it. But it was super fun. I read the script. I think I said yes before I even read the script. So then because I'm a director, I just kind of started blocking before I even read it. I'm like, I should read this whole thing. And then I was like, what the heck? We have to have a magic house? We have to have a house that's alive? And so that's when the wheels started turning. And that was actually my favorite part of directing, was trying to figure out how to make the house come to life.
Yeah, that's a very mean directing test. And the windows need to open and shut, and the doors, and cake needs to go everywhere.
I know. It was fun. I think they'd call that the green weenie, but it was just a really big green just trying to figure out how to do that. But that was actually one of my favorite parts. And I was happy that we had Brooke. I can't even remember her last name. But so for auditions, let's see, how many people were in the cast? Was it 6?
1, 2, 3.
7. Let me think it through.
7?
So we had 10 people audition. No, 9 people audition for a 7-part show. But it was crazy because we got exactly who we needed to audition. And we had Brooke who auditioned. She didn't end up getting a part, but she became the house. And I loved how she just like took that on, and she was really proud of her work, and she did awesome. She knew right where she needed to be to make the windows or the doors open and close. And I know we had lots of little rigging things happening with strings, and it was really fun to watch backstage. I wish we would have filmed everything she did back there, but I know the cast was screwing around a lot backstage, but it was such in a tiny little theater that it was so fun. I just loved it. And I guess we can talk more about casting as each member comes in, how they kind of got their part or whatever. Partly because they were the only ones that auditioned, but mostly because they were the perfect part.
Well, yeah. How opportune that you got. I mean, again, they could maybe take the role and craft it how they want, but it seemed like you got pretty perfect.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm out of focus. Well, then let's do this. Let's watch the trailer and then let's bring some people on. How about that?
Okay.
It's fun. Yay! I love it.
Fun.
Well, maybe we should let's bring on maybe in order. Well, I don't know. Or maybe I should just bring on all the Pulsifers and we can do
Oh no.
all of them. Yeah, because Michelle says, so is Annie related to Katie Brown? Yes.
Yes.
And in fact, you all three are joining us from different parts of the house.
It's different parts of a single house.
Yes, I'm in the basement. Katie and John get to be upstairs, but I'm not a prime family member, so I live in the basement.
You're the playwright. You should have the top floor.
Yeah, right.
No, go rip those earphones off, John.
If only how that's how compensation for writers worked.
Okay, so John, you're the first character that we see, and we'll have Katie talk, even though she doesn't come in for a little bit, but you're important, okay? So John, talk about. Well, I assume that you came to auditions because you know people, but talk about.
I'd heard of the playwright before.
Were you forced to audition for the show?
No. There were no threats were levied. I did it because part of my motivation was certainly that Annie had a play going on, and it was good to help, good to be a part of. But yes, no threats of violence.
Good. And Katie, you were the one that spurred this whole thing. You want to talk about how you did that, or was it just hey, we should do this?
Pretty much just that. I mean, I'm on the board, and I think I said, Annie has this play. Tony, read it. Should we do it? Yay!
So persuasive. So that was just so easy. Tony's going, yeah.
It was really funny. I mean, I know Annie. It's funny. Annie's calling me Butler. I don't know if you guys noticed that. She's like, this Butler did that. Because she also was at East High School when I taught there. Yes, she's talented because of me.
For that 1 year that we overlapped.
That's not true at all. Annie's just very talented in her own right. But yeah, when they passed the play to me, I was like, this is super funny. And then, okay, Jill, this was her first one, but I had been working with Jill for a while. I want to go back to why you were chosen just for 1 second.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody knows Jill Bearden, but she is so funny. And so I'm like, hey, Jill, when I don't ask people to direct to be like, maybe you could do this. I observe them, and then I'm like, hey, you can do this. This is a perfect show for you. It's a small cast, so it'll be a great one to be your first one to be. So I had full confidence that Jill could handle the humor of this one, especially it's so bizarre. And Jill is so bizarre. So I'm like, done.
So nice.
Done. Yeah, and it was Annie's play too, which, I already knew the Pulsifers. John actually did a lot of playwriting when he was at East as well, and he won awards as well. He did very good. So I knew that they were good playwrights, these Pulsifers.
Well, their whole family actually auditioned. Not their whole family. I don't know who all is in your family, but
Only Sam.
Everyone except Sam.
Oh, there's
only the youngest boy.
Oh yeah, Sam, of course. No, I remember Sam. But so Mom and Dad Pulsifer and Katie and John all auditioned. And so Katie, you have to tell your mom that you butted her out of her part because we were just reading through, and I was like, it was just assumed to me that I can't remember your parents' names, brother and sister Pulsifer. I can't remember. I'm so sorry.
Mike and Jenny.
What?
Mike and Jenny.
Mike and Jenny. It was kind of in my mind when they came in. I'm like, of course they're going to be. Now I can't. Mr. O'Brien and what was the
Mom.
Mrs. Brenton.
Yeah. So, but Tony has this cool way of she never ever casts anyone until basically everyone has read for every part. So she kind of whispered to me, she's like, why don't you try Katie as Mom? I was like, I never would have thought of that. So as soon as Katie read for the mom's part, it just clicked like light bulbs. I think for both Tony and I, because Tony was helping me cast as well. It just light bulbs went off. And we're like, that is who she has to be. And she was so perfect for that part. And I'm like, I never would have thought before we came in that we would cast Katie as like this. She's probably younger than her children. I don't know. Are you younger than John? I don't even.
I am older than John.
Are older than John, but not old enough to be his mom. So that was just a fun surprise for me as a director to be like, oh my gosh. And then it just worked out, especially because Michael was similar to your age. So it was okay to play opposite of him. And I just love that. That was a fun casting surprise for me. And you did so great at that. Like I was watching it last night. Everyone was so amazing. It brought back such good memories. And like both John and Katie, just because they're on here now, they just brought such life into their characters. Like I'm finding the whole Pulsifer family is basically all geniuses, which is great. So it was actually a little intimidating to try to direct them. So I think I don't know if I don't remember a ton, but I feel like I gave them a lot of like just do what. I think I did have to teach Katie to be a little seductive at one point. But I was like,
Jill, I don't know what to do.
you get on him and you crawl.
Exactly what to do.
But Katie, you're such a minx.
It really came out. She did a great. I know she.
So uncomfortable.
But I just know. I mean, it was just so fun to watch both of you guys just take your characters and just come alive. And it was like, if you can cast it right, then there's not a lot you have to do as a director, to be honest. So it was fun. I love it.
It's kind of fun too. Is I hope that somehow we, hope is to get other people doing it because it was such a successful play that, I mean, you cast it just like a high school would have cast it. You know what I mean? Everybody was basically the same age except for maybe me. And but I'm like, a high school could totally put this one up because there's so few straight plays, straight comedies that we have choices that we use. And so I did post this just, on the UACT page and said, anybody want to bite? So just for fun. But if any high school teachers are listening, I'm telling you, this is a good one to do at the high school. So
Feel free. You can do it. I don't care.
You got permission from the playwright.
I love that. Okay, so I want to know. So we'll keep Tony on because Tony, we see you very early on in the show. But let's go, John, and then Tony, and then Katie. I have two questions. First, my signature question, which is favorite moment in the show. It can be during the run of the show. It could be during rehearsals, a favorite moment that you remember, or it could be watching someone else, maybe, or whatever your favorite moment of the show. And then I want to know what. Either challenges or maybe what was easy to create your character, right? These are characters that haven't been played before. So what was easy? What was more challenging? I don't know. John.
I'm put on the spot. My favorite moment. Well, I've always had a deep-seated and passionate love of furniture, which I was able to express. I was able to speak my truth to a group of people. That was very, very gratifying, very life affirming. What was hardest? What was hardest? I can't think of a specific moment. Performing in front of people can be anxiety inducing. But that's a very general response, and it's not funny, but it's what I'm sticking with.
I have one moment with John that I remember. There was a point in the script where you were supposed to be on stage, but it was never blocked that you went out. Like you were supposed to still be there, but we didn't know what you would be doing because it was in the second act when you were in love with the house. And I can't remember who came up with it, probably you. Oh, we decided to have you roll up in the rug.
Yeah, that was fun. And just stay there. It was great.
And I also liked how you came on singing a new love song to the pillow every single night. Do you remember that? I do now. I remember because I was watching, it's different to watch it than it is to be in it because you had a million things going on in your mind. So to me, I just was always waiting to see what love song you would be singing to the pillow as you came back on stage. But yes, I loved when you rolled up in the carpet. That was like my favorite moment. One of my favorite with you. You were so funny.
I love it. Okay, Tony.
Well, I got to play the Voodoo Lady, which is fun because, like I said, I don't get to act a lot because I'm usually in charge. So it's fun when somebody else is in charge. Mm-hmm. I don't think I auditioned for this one though. I think Jill I was next to her and she goes, and I think you'll be the voodoo lady.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was running it and I had to build it and design it and everything. And so Jill was really cute though. When I'm just talking about the technical part of it, she came, probably the only director that's ever done this with me. She actually came with a drawing of how she wanted the sets to be and how she wanted to feel and look and, help pick the colors. And she was very involved in what she wanted this house. Cause I don't know if you watch the movie, the film, the whatever it is, there's eyes, and then there's like this picture that has a round nose on the fireplace, and then the fireplace. But she wanted it to look like a face.
I'm sure nobody knew that. I knew,
but it was there, right?
Wow.
And then I had to like build crazy things. Like I had to build a sink like that they used, and I had to build an oven. We also had to build in micro space a living room and a kitchen. I mean, if you were to walk behind those walls, there's like a foot or two between. Yeah, it was like nothing behind those things. And so it was really fun to try to, like, the obstacle of actually creating the green weenie. Thank you very much, Annie. Especially like making it come alive and stuff. Like it was really fun. For the voodoo lady, that was really fun. I was only on for one scene, but it was super fun. I do feel bad about all the smacking. I told Rob when I saw him, I'm like, I think I need to apologize. I smacked you a lot. I blame Jill, but then she said it was really my fault. So now I'm really pissed off.
Yeah, I would like to say that I did not write in slapping people all the time. It was a choice, but I respected it.
If you know that Jill, she's like violent on stage. So I was confident it was her. But it was fun to become Dominican. You know that lady in Pirates of the Caribbean? There's this lady, and she's in the swamp. Yeah, she's where I got my inspiration. And I found this funny picture that I copied, replicated. Anyway, it was just funny. Anyway, loved it. But I think one of my favorite parts was Rob dancing. And it's going to come up. I know it is. But Rob actually loves to dance. Like, I swear he was a cheerleader, either in this life or another life. I'm not sure. But when he got into that part, like, it just made all of us so happy because it's so funny.
Tony, my favorite part with you on stage is that switch between like you're all voodoo and then Rob's like, "Are you going to help me?" And you're like, "Yes." So funny. I laughed again. I remember it was fun to watch it again last night because I'd forgotten so much about it, and I laughed right out loud. I was watching it at like 12:30, and I laughed really hard at that.
Well, and if you watch that night, you slapped someone in the audience, but
I think I did that every night. But again, I don't think I would block someone else to do that. I don't think I would let myself do that again. I'm just putting a warning out there. I don't think you should slap your audience.
One night. I have a pretty firm memory of it.
I know. I'm like,
It's different to be a director than it is to be an actor. You start getting into these weird, like, you would never do that. You would never tell another actor to do that. But as an actor, I think you got carried away in your part. That's good.
Rob liked it. Just kidding. He hated it. He hated it.
It was hard.
I love it. Okay, Katie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. There were so many fun little, people running in and out of doors and closets. And one of the things that I loved, just kind of rewatching it last night, was when Rebecca went into the chest.
Yeah.
She was just hiding in the chest for forever. And she actually had like a little escape hole in the back, so she didn't have to crouch in the chest for 10 minutes. But I love when she just pops back out of the chest and
she's like,
fairy tale kisses.
what are you doing? Weeping.
Was
So
that
I love
inspired? When my freshman year in high school, we did this British farce where I played a character who was stuck in a chest and pops out at one point. Annie saw.
I mean, maybe, but I don't. It might have been unconsciously inspired by that.
That was one of my favorite plays. It was See How They Run. And John was in it. And so was Katie. But it was one of my favorite moments in that show too. When you popped out, everybody forgot you were there. It was so
It's my signature.
You just had to stay in the chest, though. You didn't
Well,
have.
that's the fun of farce, putting people in weird objects and then being like, do people remember they're there? How fun.
well, like when O'Brien and Mom go in the closet and everyone knows they're in there making out. So then when somebody, I can't remember who opens the thing, but they're in there, they're like just in the throes of passion. That was my favorite. There was a lot of that in this play where people go into hiding, and I love how O'Brien can't get out of the house for a while. And
Yeah,
that was fun. It was a very fast-paced play, which was fun. I there was never a dull moment. Like, it was just entertaining from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, when I had to tell people about it, I'm like, they're like, is it good? I'm like, it's so good. It's like it has a laugh track.
Yeah.
People just laugh so consistently at it. Sometimes, you have a good night, bad night kind of thing. This one never had a bad night. Everybody was always laughing.
Yep.
It was really consistent.
Yeah.
I just want to complain a little bit about the actors, though. I think it was repairing the sets every night.
Yeah.
That's a very hard.
John broke the kitchen door. Yeah.
Like, oh, that was another favorite moment for me. Like, usually I didn't like making out in the closet. I'm sorry, Mike. But I was just so awkward about all the seduction parts. But one night the closet broke and the door broke off. And that was just like so much adrenaline that it made it really funny and exciting.
Well, and it wasn't just the door that night. It seems like there's like 3 things that happened. Can you guys remember?
That's the same night, because the pantry door broke off the hinge.
Yeah, it was just
You're making out at the time?
Yeah. And we just kind of like hid behind
like Michael kept grabbing it, kind of like hiding you guys.
Yeah, I think he leaned it up against him or something.
And then and I just remember sitting there thinking, like, what are they going to do? Like, this is bad. And then the whole audience is just laughing their heads off about it. That's the same night that we'll talk about this more when Rob and Sarah are on, but they just lost it. What?
Oh, yeah.
I was remembering the salad. I don't know if that was the same night, but
What's the salad? I don't remember that.
oh, just one night Rob makes a salad and we didn't have any salad that night, and he just like took the leaves off of a fake plant. That's we didn't put them in the bowl.
I forgot about
Oh, actors are funny.
That was amazing. But we should like bring them on and ask them.
Yeah, bring them on.
Bring Rob.
Yeah.
Rob may have
And Mikey.
disagreements about certain things that have been said about his past as a cheerleader. It's brought up in private chat.
He's proud of it. I think he's proud of it.
I think he denies it, but yeah, maybe, or he's proud.
Okay, well let's ask him when he gets on. We'll put him on the spot. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I can be done.
I was going to let's take off John and Katie. Here he is.
Hey,
Yeah.
And I'll put Sarah on too.
There she is, the villain.
Okay, so Rob, would you like to say anything? You've been name checked a bunch.
I don't remember ever being a cheerleader, but maybe the energy I brought to this production would remind people of how a cheerleader would work.
Rob was like, just watching it again last night, he very came close to stealing the show. His character, he just did such a good job of making a likable character. I mean, Rob's very likable anyway, but as Moy, I was just like, I just laughed every single time. He's like, oh, but I'm not Spanish. Like, I loved how that was a theme throughout the whole show.
I love it. I think that Annie made it a very graceful dance.
Yeah.
It's borderline insensitive, but not quite,
Yeah, for sure. And then he was just funny. Like, Rob, you just were so funny that whole entire time. Like, I swear every line you said, you got to laugh because of the way you said it. Like, I don't even know if it was intended to be funny, but because you were able to create a character that everybody just loved almost from the very beginning, probably because they felt sorry for you that you kept getting slapped.
Probably from that first scene. Everybody knows there's something.
But you were so fun. I just loved Moy's character so much. And I love that you're like the whitest
Dominican in the world.
guy. I mean, you wore your hat to cover up your blonde hair, but I do remember we tried to make him look Dominican on one of our dress rehearsals. And
Yeah. We painted my hair, I think, and
then do you remember? And I even like brought stuff to make your skin a little darker, which I don't know why I thought that would be.
yeah, we made my eyebrows black, and then after a while, we're just like, this is
Well, then because it's such a fast-paced show, he was sweating like crazy, and so
that's
he
what it
just
was.
black.
That's right. Yeah.
Too, I know Rob better now, and so when I watched it, I'm like, wait a second, how much of this is Rob ad-libbing? Like,
I know.
Mhm.
because it was so, a lot of the vocabulary was so you. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize that back then. It was so great.
Yeah, it was funny.
I caught a couple of things. I was like, oh, I don't think that was in the script. And I just
Anning's like, you're right, it wasn't.
that's right. That was not.
That's the nice thing about it being so long since I wrote it that I was like, I can't remember. I know I wrote that. I can't remember. I could pull it up, but
Okay, so I'm gonna ask my question and then take me off so I can put Mikey on. Okay. So same thing. Favorite moment in the show, and then what was difficult or what was maybe easy about creating your character. I'm working on something behind the scenes. So.
Is Rebecca here just questioning? I haven't seen her.
No, I haven't seen her yet.
Okay.
My favorite moment was the night that Sarah and I started laughing so hard on stage.
And I had totally forgotten about that until whomever was it, Jill, that you mentioned
my
it.
gosh.
I totally I actually am really impressed at how much y'all are remembering because I'm feeling super old and I'm like, man, this was a long time ago.
I know.
My
Even
brain
watching it
doesn't
last night, I was
remember
like,
much.
we look so young.
I was thinking that too. I was like,
I know.
man, I looked young and thin.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wow, Rob, you're really thin. Things have changed. Yeah, Sarah and I had this fight scene at like the beginning in the kitchen where we're having this argument, and I'll never forget like watching her face. And I can't remember if I cracked a smile or if you did it first, but we both kind of cracked a smile, and then we lost it. And we were supposed to be fighting, but we were laughing so hard that we could not. For like several minutes, like
It was a long time.
A very long
audience was
time.
laughing, and we could not stop.
Was that bad?
Yeah.
But it was so
No.
funny. Like I'll never forget that moment that we
Cute.
just were trying so hard to get it back together, but we just could not.
I think it's because Sarah hit you. Remember when she smacked you? And so I think she hit you really
I
hard.
think I hit a lot in that
It's like,
show.
I was just saying, probably. I feel like I hit Rob even just like in real life, not even just
know,
on
right?
stage.
I know.
So
But
came very natural.
I just remember those are the best types. I love laughs like that where it's not intentional laughing, but then you can't stop because it's inappropriate, but your body's just like, I have to keep laughing because it's
Right?
and
I probably like peed my pants a little bit too because I've had children. Like, let's be honest.
oh my gosh. It
Just
was
laughing.
Sorry, my son just brought me a red vine.
oh,
Oh, sweet.
but I do the hardest part was that dance. Like I remember being so insecure about that, and I wanted Jill to choreograph it for me. I'm like, so Jill, what do you want me to do? Like, can you give me something you want me to do? It's like, I think you can figure it out. I think you just put some things together and we'll see if it's good or not. And I just remember being so self-conscious about it and feeling so stupid and just going for it. Like the part of me was like, just go for it. Like, who cares? And I just after we did it a couple times, like, oh, this part's fun. Like, I like this part a lot now.
I liked your personal wave on that one when you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Sarah's oblivious to all of it. That's the best part.
Yeah.
I think my favorite line delivery in the whole show was Rob when you said, "But I'm not a witch priest and I don't dance."
And I don't dance.
I was just like, something about how you said that just made me very delighted.
I love the chemistry between Sarah and Rob. Like,
Yeah.
as far as working together on stage, you guys really made a really fun couple on
Yeah.
stage.
I like working with Sarah a lot. It was really fun. And we had a really good dynamic, I felt like.
Yeah, it was,
Everything that we did. Like I was the mild, like naive guy, and she was like the street smart girl. And there were some moments where we were fighting, and then there were other moments where we came together just to come up with a plan and stuff. And I love that dynamic between us. It was really fun.
yeah.
No, absolutely. That's kind of like us in real life too, though.
Yeah,
Rob.
it's true. It's true. Like we were really
You're the naive, nice guy.
That's
great cast.
Sarah, what was your favorite part of the show? If you can remember.
Like I said, right? Like I'm feeling super old. What did we say? It was 2013.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
Because I know it. Oh, holy smokes!
Mhm.
Because I know that it was. I think it was my last show before I had my son, and I haven't done a show since I've had him, and he just turned 5 in February. So it's been a long time.
Mhm.
Probably my most favorite part was just working with this cast, seeing all of your guys' faces again. It reminds me of how much I just enjoy you all, and I enjoy your your spirit and your excitement, and you guys are hilarious. And so I think just working with the cast, I remember talking to Rob beforehand when we knew the auditions were going to happen. And Rob was like, I kind of want to audition, but I think I'm a little old for the characters. I'm like, me too. I really want to audition for this character, but I'm kind of old. Like, I'm a mom. But we both did it. And I didn't realize that only 9 people auditioned. I was thinking it was pretty awesome. But it turns out, no, I just...
900. You were exclusively chosen.
So yeah, my favorite part really was working with the cast. Gosh, probably this may come as a surprise. Getting into that character, not so difficult. I loved it. I loved the character, but I do remember there was one scene where I had to like crawl through the window onto the counter, into the sink. Again, I'm a mom, and I think I was wearing like heeled boots at the time too. And so trying to like get my body to do that without falling, because I also have some severe like control issues. So I have this like major fear of falling, because when you fall, you're not in control. So not freaking out every time I had to crawl through the window. As silly as that is, that was
I remember I watched it last night, and I watched you climb through the window. I was like, she's wearing heels in that thing. I mean, it was scary for me to go through the window, but I wasn't wearing heels.
Right?
Trying to
how like Catwoman does it, I have no idea. Who knows how graceful it really was? But yeah, that was probably the hardest part of my character.
I loved your character. She was so great.
It was awesome.
It was so fun. It was so fun.
My favorite part, just watching last night, I loved because you're blackmailing everybody. I love when you like show Rob your phone and then John your pictures at the same time.
I need to go back. I didn't watch it last night. I need to go back and watch it, and maybe like force my kids to watch it and be like, look, Mom used to do fun things.
Do it. It was really fun.
Well, while we're on YouTube, this little special. First of all, people are asking how much for Rob to do the dance. Okay.
Oh,
7.
$100.
Theater.
So you can donate below to the Kensington Venmo. All right. But what we'll do is let's. I should have made this, before tonight, but I have the clip of Rob dancing. So and then maybe if we get enough donations during this, we'll have Rob dance. All right, let's watch.
So just try being like a little twitchy. I do not do what you think. Well, I can't. Just dance around me. Bondi, send aside Loa from your Here I go. Goddess of love. Shut precious heart to your dear script. As this candle burns, let them yearn. As your yearning grow to burning.
Oh my gosh, I don't even think I realized that you did all of that.
It was a workout. Like, I would be sweating after that.
Oh, that made me so happy.
So first,
well, here's a little tidbit I got for you, if I may. You see, that scene right there that we just watched was probably the most anticipated for me because during rehearsal, I was backstage playing the bongo drums, so Rob had something to dance
that's
to.
you?
And so every time that would happen, whoever was around would just burst into laughter. I mean, people would be crying. They were laughing so hard every time. And so I'm like, man, this must be like so great. And then finally it got got to the point where like, no, the bongos aren't going to work, and they switched it to, whatever they used in the show, and I finally got to see it. Did not disappoint, my friend.
So good. So good.
Mike, what was your favorite part?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, and along the lines of what Sarah was saying, just being there with all of you, the whole process was such a grounding experience for me, especially at that point in time. But I'll tell you, probably the memory that stands out the strongest for me was coming back from intermission to start the second act, and we're backstage in the dark, and that David Bowie song from Labyrinth comes on, and I'm rocking out to Dance, Magic Dance, like in the back in the dark in the 12 inches of space we have, backstage, and rocking out to Bowie every time. But I mean, at the same time, it was like the butterflies are going, and you're about to go out and perform, and just the anticipation of that was just a unique feeling. You can't really replace that.
I wish Rebecca were here. I'm gonna throw it up on the. I was getting not pied, I guess, caked in the face, and in the recording that if you watched it, Rebecca tries, but I think she just smears it more, and she's like trying to.
Wasn't that shaving cream?
Was it shaving cream?
Shaving cream wasn't really frosting, was it? So
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Because
so
it like will, it'd be sticky and it won't stay fluffy.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
the shaving cream will stay fluffy.
That's right. That's funny.
Michael, I loved working with you. I thought you, especially after watching it again, I was reminded of how well you pulled off being an old man. Like I look at you now, I'm like, oh my, he's totally young. I forgot how young you are because you just did such a good job. You just were like a lovable, grumpy old man, but hilarious, and like you you did get your face shoved in a pie and a cake, which was hilarious. Anytime there's a cake shoved in someone's face, you know it's going to be a good show.
Quality.
And I just thought, I thought you and Mom had a really good chemistry together as well. Like I was just so impressed with how the couples kind of worked out, and of course Rob and Becca and their makeout scene, that was some good chemistry.
And another slap in the face.
I know, but I just thought it was fun. I thought you did a really, really good job at your character.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to see all of you. By the way, it's been quite a while. I've kind of been in my own little world in the past few years. So it's really, really good to see you. I really miss performing and just connecting with all of you. Yeah, maybe someday I'll get back to it.
This is why we're doing it, right? Bringing people back together. Sarah, I think maybe this I'm going to play with you, Mom.
Yes, thank you so much, Ella Grace. That is one of my children. She's the one that actually like told me about the reunion show. She was like, "Hey, Mom, are you going to do this?" I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
I love it. Well,
yeah, you can all thank Ella Grace for having me here, and Mr. Rob Abney.
Well, so first we raised $1 million, which is incredible.
Nice.
So thank you.
And Adam Lynn, what's he doing?
So Rob, do you want to show us any dance moves?
Well, I do.
He does.
I will. I was reminded that this dance originated from my dancing in junior high. Like that was my move. This side to side. I would do this for hours. Then if I really wanted, maybe back up. Then if I wanted to do a little something all fancy, I'd throw a little hand movement into it. And that's really what I would do every junior high dance. And everyone would line up in these long lines, and that's what we do. Just sidestep. If you're really fancy, you throw a little circle in it. That's it.
I love it.
It's all based in truth and reality.
Yeah. They're getting what they want. I love it. Yeah. This is so fun.
Speaking of dancing, do you guys remember the big dance party we had on closing night?
Electric slide.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But it wasn't just that. Like we were having a full-on like dance. We probably should have been striking, is what I'm guessing. But instead, we were doing electric slide. I remember just getting so sweaty. So much
Well, I
fun.
remember somebody coming around the corner, like down the hall in the school, be like, "You guys, important, mandatory staff meeting or cast meeting right now. 30 seconds. Let's go." And then we walk in the room, and Tony goes, "Hey, everybody, I have something really important I want to tell you. Dance party!" Then the music goes on. It's like all planned, and
It was fun. That's like the biggest memory I have of this whole show was doing a dance party with you guys.
I feel like it was after the dance party, and who knows? Again, I'm old, so maybe I'm making this up. But I feel like afterwards, we all spent way too many hours at Village Inn, and Rob ate his first plate of chicken and waffles that night.
It was that night, yeah. And I was really disappointed. I remember that, thinking
You were
everyone talked about-
disappointed?
Oh yeah, it was awful.
Well, I mean, it is Village Inn, like Utah
That's true.
Village Inn chicken
That's
and
true.
waffles.
Everyone had
like-
talked about it so much, and then I ate it, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
People
I
are so
gotta
excited
take you
about
to the south, Rob, and
Yeah.
we'll get you some real chicken and
Let's do it.
waffles
Let's do it, road trip.
when we can travel again and like leave our homes.
I know.
Never.
I love that Sarah's like, I don't remember this at all, but Bob had chicken and waffles.
But Rob had chicken and waffles,
Very specific detail.
right? Right. Funny how that brain works.
I love it. I love it. Hey, should we play Kensington Questions to jog your memory?
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
who have never played are like, what is that?
I'm like,
You'll like it.
Tell someone else, Logan.
I know. I now have freed up. I have lots of time now that I'm not in school. So
Don't ever change that song. It's my favorite part.
No, it needs to be Logan singing it. That's what
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Okay. So this is Kensington Questions. This is how it goes. I'm going to put a prompt or a question on the screen, and you guys get to decide who in the cast fits this question the most. Okay. So the pulsivers that are all off screen, I can see you. So if you want to answer, put your hand up in front of the camera, or anybody, put your hand up in front of the camera, and I'll call on you. All right. You'll be fine at this. Okay, let's do this one. Let's go backwards. Who had the best costume? Jill.
Definitely Katie when she changed into her pageant gown.
Katie raised her hand. You're muted.
Fine. Okay, I do that every time. Which was Tony's prom dress?
Oh no! I didn't know that. I
True
forgot.
story. 1991.
It's so cool.
I love it. Okay, good. I think we already know this one.
Oh, right.
Yeah. There we go. Have to do it backwards.
I know it's backwards. All right, good. Who was the cast clown?
Rob. Tony.
I'd say Mikey.
Mikey, I was going to say Mikey too.
Mm-hmm.
Should I put Mike here? I'll take someone off. I'm randomly taking people. Would you like to defend yourself, Mikey?
I was probably a bit of a goof, but I think Rob and Sarah together kind of made
Yeah, we're going.
the cast.
Jill.
Mike was cute. Mike came back. I remember him, and he's like, we would have like new paint and cut wood, and he's like, oh, it smells like theater. I remember him being just so happy with the experience of theater. He'd be like, oh, this is my favorite smell. I love this smell.
Well, it's got to be the most all-time, most healing like group experience, right? Like just the whole process. I mean, forget about the show, just everything that happens behind it all was a big deal. And I just what you said, I was very excited.
You were always just so happy with every little teeny tiny thing in it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I love this so much, Sarah. Mom, you need to do more plays. Oh, sweet. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's see. Okay, most likely to break character on
These two. Those two.
What? No.
I don't know what you're talking
What
about.
are we talking about? Crazy.
So stoic.
Usually when we play Kensington Questions, we haven't talked about these. So the fact that you've already brought them up is great.
No.
All right, most likely to upstage on accident. Maybe they're so good that they.
Katie and Mikey for breaking the door.
Oh, that.
Me? Why are you pointing at me, lady Voodoo?
Because you were so delightful. You and Sarah were everybody. You need to watch this. These two were so like everybody was delightful in the roles. It's absolutely true. But I love how Annie wrote these two characters because they were just so delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love it.
goodness.
All right, good.
Rob, we need like some tag team back again whenever
I
you're
know.
doing another show together.
Let's do it. Try to play that we could be in together, playing opposites.
I think Annie should write like a sequel.
Part
to
two?
this. Moy and Lindsay. Lindsay and Moy?
Hey, Moy,
No, they just have together with Becca.
take the town.
It will be, with a triangle, love triangle with Becca. Yeah, I like it.
Annie says villains are fun to write.
Villains are fun to play.
I should put you're committed.
They brought me back. I was just saying that, not that Moy is a villain. Moy is a lovable dupe. But villains are very fun to write. And I don't know if you were here before, Sarah, when I was saying that poor your character got all the villainy pushed upon her in the process.
Oh, yeah, no, I did hear that, and that she was going to have a bit more nuance beforehand, and there was going to be.
She still has nuance, but she's like she enjoys her villainy. She's spoiled.
You can ask my children. I do too.
All right, let's do another one. Most likely to be late.
Oh.
I'm looking for answer. Everybody's going, I don't know.
I don't know. We were all pretty responsible
Yeah.
as people.
Oh, wait, Tony. Okay, I'm taking someone off.
Jill.
Hold on, let's.
That's not true. I probably was. I was actually thinking that too. I'm like, this cast was like uber, very punctual, very prepared. Like I don't remember anyone coming to rehearsal not prepared. Like I felt like the lines came fast. There's a lot of dialogue. Like there's no songs, obviously. Yeah. And so I was watching that again last night, and I was like, these guys have this script down. Like they just knew it, and if they didn't know it, they made it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, except for like the whole like spell part. I remember I had to like put those lines in the book because I could not remember them to save my life. I was like, oh, cheat.
I think it flowed very well. Like everyone knew their parts. I mean, Katie Pulsifer, obviously not Pulsifer anymore. Sorry, Katie Brown. I knew that about her and her sibling. I mean, John was the same way. And everyone, I just felt like the whole cast, it probably was me who was late.
I'm just teasing. I don't remember, actually.
But we can say it probably was. But that's why, because I can't think of one other person like that it could have been besides me.
That Voodoo book that Sarah read out of, it was a technical theater book. And I put my face on the back of it and made it look all voodoo. But whenever I pull it out for my kids to pull something out, they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh."
Tony, didn't we do the props? I swear I remember doing props and sets. Like I know that we did a lot of double duty. I remember who brought the chicken every night.
It was Mikey.
Mikey brought it because he.
Yeah, that's right. Because Mikey, you worked somewhere.
Your sister had a Chick-fil-A.
That is correct. I forgot about that. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, you brought fresh chicken every show, which was very nice.
Well, the cake wasn't real.
Hey, thanks, Chick-fil-A. Being there.
The cake was a fake cake that I would put. It doesn't say cream rinse. Shaving cream on it. We just shaving cream it up each night, and then we'd have little pieces that would come out of it.
Yep. Do you remember at the very? I mean, we must have had a big mess to clean up at the end of the night because they were throwing like baking powder at each other. Was it baking powder or baby powder?
Baby powder.
There was like shaving cream, which is a lot less sticky than whipped cream, but still, we made quite a mess. It was fun. Actually, I remember this, like all the spices everywhere, and it was just.
The best one was for me was Rob would throw a piece of cake out the window.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so we had to be on the other side and catch it.
That's right.
That's funny.
In fact, that whole thing that you saw filmed, the preview, because I wanted to do a trailer for it, and I thought about it while we were doing the play. And so the only time to film it and make it, I was like backstage. So every angle you saw was from Voodoo Lady sneaking through the windows, pictures of the cast.
Because it was during a show, right? Is that what you said? During the show. Which was fun because you were able to see the audience's reaction too, little brief moments of it.
They loved it. Oh my gosh, they loved it.
All right, another question. Most likely to injure themselves?
Probably Sarah coming through the window.
I know, probably.
Do you have any injuries
Nodding.
during this show?
Katie.
You're in town, so no.
Yeah.
Rob, did you?
I just remember getting hit a lot. Like at first it was kind of funny, and then after a while I was like, okay, you don't have to hit me full force.
It's tricky. It's tricky. You have to have exactly the right angle, you know.
Yeah.
Hurt.
When the tears started streaming down my face, then I think we kind of pulled back.
Yeah, I think so. You're tall too. I can't even reach you.
So change it to the most likely to injure Rob.
Yeah.
The most likely to get injured because they're injuring others is me.
Yeah.
And then I hit Sarah really hard one night. Like I get to hit Sarah.
Yeah, that's right.
I accidentally did it. Really
And I remember, Katie, you felt so bad. It's like, I can take it.
I just had like extra adrenaline or something. I was like, smack.
Sometimes it happens.
I love it. All right. Most likely to know their lines. Kind of said everybody. Is there one person that you're like, that person will know their lines?
Katie.
Yep. The responsible one.
Yeah.
It's always Katie. It's always Katie. All right. Most likely to forget a line.
Rob and Sarah.
I don't know. Rebecca had forgot a few.
Yeah.
Who's not here? It was Rebecca. She's like all the time.
Yeah, throw Rebecca under the bus. She's not-
I do have to say something about Rebecca, actually, because I wish she was here because we would definitely talk about this because we've talked about it before. So 2 days maybe before we opened, we completely changed Rebecca's character. I don't know if you guys remember this. So she was, I don't know, maybe it wasn't quite 2 days. But it was close. It was well into the rehearsal process because we started off. It was funny. Their name was Becca. We started Becca kind of being sassy, a little bit like Lindsay. And we were just like, it just never was gelling. And I'm like, well, let's just see once she memorizes her lines. And then all of a sudden, I remember laying in bed one night. I'm like, she needs to be a little bit afraid of Lindsay instead of like head to head with her all the time. Like, we already have a Lindsay, let's get somebody else. And so I talked to Becca about it, and we totally switched her entire character. And then as soon as she started doing that, she's like, it felt so right. And I'm like, me too. So like that whole kind of shy, like talking under her breath, like that was all added really, really close to the opening of the show. I wish she was here because we always laugh about how that's because I was a very inexperienced director. I don't know, but her character didn't develop until very late in the game.
That's
so she forgot a line. That's why.
I love it. All right, last question. Most likely to miss an entrance. I'm looking for hands. Anybody?
I don't think I did.
No one missed an entrance?
Let's say John, just for fun. John.
I was just gonna say the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll confess to it then. Every night that wasn't recorded, I missed every entrance. True.
I knew it.
This one, it was hard. This one, you had to have your entrances, or because it was so much moving in and out of things. But if you missed it, it threw off everything.
Yeah.
And so I think all of us felt a little pressure to be like, okay, we've got to get these entrances, and we've got to be jumping through windows and out of things. And
yeah, I do remember like everybody like being always backstage by the door, by the window, by the other door, wherever we needed to be, so you could just automatically just move it.
Yeah. I was trying to remember. I couldn't tell from the recording, but if I remember correctly, when you guys are chasing Lindsay around the house, do you guys run in slow motion past the kitchen window? Does that really
it looked like we did last night, but I don't remember. I don't remember. I think it was just so tight back there. It looked like we were going.
No, I know you did it on purpose. Like
Did
I
you
remember
really?
it was funny. Like I was like, this is a gag. I probably shouldn't do it, and I probably should stop them. I know it wasn't my idea. I think you guys planned it
I
behind.
swear we didn't. I don't remember doing so much. I just remember it was all four of us back there, so we were probably just trying to get through them.
But no, it was a big like slow motion moment. You're like, oh, and she turns around. Like I feel like I remember,
Huh.
but I know I didn't tell you to do it. I know you guys planned it amongst yourselves backstage and then just
So
did it.
funny.
Because we're brilliant.
We're so
I loved it. It was funny.
So I was going to say, I think that I remember the one missing the most entrances was sound, because I was running it, and the sound cues were so specific.
Mhm.
And I was sitting backwards, like right outside that window was like a little teeny spot. I sat on this little teeny stool with my little board, and I ran the lights and the sound. And I remember always being like, oh, I should just get someone else to help me with this, because I'm always missing my sound cues. So I think it was me.
There were a ton of sound cues because like every time we put you can't tell exactly what they were, but every time they put spices on, there was a sound cue. Like there were I thought you did a good job. I didn't remember that was you running sound. I was actually trying to remember who it was, but it was you.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to be in it. Remember, I was
Right.
Yeah, I was just going to be the crew person, but alas.
Yes.
A voodoo crew person.
Yeah, if you watch the preview again and you watch the part where I'm catching the cake at one point, you can see the walls.
Uh-huh.
Look at the walls on both sides of me. That is backstage. It's so small.
Oh, it's so funny. I was wondering about John's hair because John, you got so much in your hair. Did you just like? What did you do like backstage? Did you like rinse it out or did you just brush it out?
Oh, I can't remember.
Maybe if it was shaving cream, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, it was a scarring experience, and apparently I've blanked out what I had to do to clean my hair.
Rub it in.
Yeah, just rub it in.
Yeah.
Get it into the scalp.
Well, now that I know it's shaving cream, it probably wasn't a big sticky mess. I was thinking it was whipped cream, so I'm like, what? I don't remember him washing his hair backstage, but
That's
yeah,
why.
he said it seemed like this shaving cream stayed in his hair for a long time. So maybe you did nothing.
He enjoyed it.
Clean it during my weekly shower.
All right, that was Kensington Questions. We'll listen to it again. The people love it, so that's why we play it.
It's beautiful.
I did want to bring this up. We were talking about it before, but laughter in the audience. Of course, the Merrills were there the night that you can watch the stream, and it's true. They are great laugh plants. But they said that they could pick up other people laughing. But that was the thing with watching the stream is people were they're just laughing the whole time. Someone comes into the room and they start laughing because they're picking up what's going to happen and whatnot. It's so funny. So funny.
I liked Tony's improv with the people who came in late. I can't remember what you said now, but you like totally made fun of him. I can't remember what she said.
I don't remember something like welcome to Harmon's or something.
Yeah,
Just Harmon's gave us all that stuff.
yes, they did.
They were sponsors and they gave us this stuff. Particularly.
I don't think I ever gave that basket back. Don't tell Harmon.
It's great.
I just confessed it live. I'm going to jail.
If they can find
Never
us, they don't live here anymore.
But I have Harmon's across the street from me here. They're brothers. They can help me down.
I'm curious. I mean, I don't know if we can get Annie back on. You can take me off if you want. But I'm curious what Annie's doing now. Like, she wrote this when she was 7. I mean, it's like 9 years ago or something. She actually wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what projects are you doing now? Because the Pulsiver's sense of humor is so bizarre and so fun that I'm curious. What are you doing now?
I mean, when we're not in a global pandemic, I live in New York, and I work at an art school, and I do a mix of like writing and teaching. I'm trying to think of my most recent projects. Most of my recent projects have been musical, just because I'm part of a musical theater workshop. But I still write. I still make bizarre stuff. But it's really fun.
Katie told me about one that's you don't have to tell us totally about it, but I really want to read it. But it's something about dating vampires.
The Trouble with Dead Boyfriends. Yes. So I have a musical that's been put on in a couple places. It won this like musical theater improv prize in Chicago. And then it had a premiere two summers ago. 2 summers ago in New York, at this like feminist women's theater festival thing. It's a weird show. The premise is it's like sort of doing a send up of like YA horror monsters, but as like representing different types of problematic relationships. Like the vampire is kind of like using his girlfriend for her blood. He's a predator. And the ghost is possessive and the zombie is physically abusive. Yeah, it's full of hackery. And bad puns, but it also gets really emotional. I don't know. It's a show that is near and dear to my heart, and it's had a lot of like changes as it's developed. We did it at I'm having a blank. We did it at Brown, a workshop at Brown, the one that is in Rhode Island, with their School of Music. So that was really cool. So it's a fun show. It's a little dark, but it's great. We get to murder monsters, and there's a lot of great power ballads, and it's very fun.
Annie, yes, it's been suggested that the ELA 9th grade play be Trouble with Dead Boyfriends.
I mean, I have had actually many. That was the cool thing about like workshopping it at different colleges, because first I workshopped it at Carnegie Mellon when I was getting a playwriting MFA there, and then I workshopped it at Brown School of Music. And you just get these like so excited undergrads who would come to me and be like, please, can we do it? We love it. It's so fun. Because the whole premise was I wanted to have like really cool roles for young women. And there's 3 lead women in it, and all of them get like really cool songs. And like the boys have fun parts too, but they're kind of secondary and more campy to the girls, where it's about their friendship and about them murdering the monsters in their life. It's very gory.
Okay, I need to read this. I need to get me a copy, and we'll look at it, because it was such a delight to do an original. You were our first original, and then it just happens to be that Katie wrote our other original play.
If I warn you, because it was written for like an improv Chicago crowd, it probably has too much swearing in it, and I would need to like remove some of that.
Well, Katie told me, she says, but I think that she'd allow you to make some changes. So
yeah.
We could say fart nuggets instead.
Or what, the Jello?
Yeah, as the kids say, I was saying I could make a high school version of it called the Give No F's version of it, which removes all the swearing.
We'll take that version.
Localize it with regional swears.
With
The Utah substitutions.
Yeah. Curse you, demon, go back to heck.
It doesn't really pack the same punch, I bet, but
What's your favorite play you've ever written? Do you have a favorite? Or are they all just your babies?
I mean, it varies. I think probably the best play I've ever written was my thesis play for my graduate work at Carnegie Mellon, because it's like a dark comedy and it's more serious. I struggle with writing serious stuff sometimes. I think I get afraid to get emotional. And that one hit a really cool balance and won some awards and has had a bit of a life after. But I don't know, I love everything I write. It was fun to watch this, because it's been so long since I've messed with this script that I was like, oh, I forgot I did that. I might change that. But most of it, I was pretty proud with how it held up. I was like, oh, other than those couple awkward phrases and like maybe too much exposition at the beginning, I still think it's a pretty good show.
Oh, my favorite line, we didn't know if it was a typo or not. We went with it because we loved it. John, do you remember which one it is? Because I remember you specifically, we always laughed about it. It wasn't your line, it was Sarah's line. Who even are you?
Oh, yeah.
we didn't know what that was.
Who even are you?
Yeah, I can't remember the original line.
Yeah, no, that was like my favorite line, because we weren't sure if it was a typo or not, but I was like, no, this is exactly what Lindsay would say. Exactly what she would say. Who even are you?
I loved it.
So fun.
Well, I always ask this towards the end of the live, but lessons learned from Voodoo You Do. Usually the other shows, there's, like it's stirring and whatnot, but there probably are lessons that you could still take away from either the story or from being in the cast, something that you took away from this Voodoo You Do experience.
I have a shallow one.
Oh, please.
It was the only time I have ever worn fake fingernails. And fingernails are ridiculous. And so that's my lesson.
Show this
Women should have 3 fingers. I don't know if you can see them in there.
Funny.
I love
And
it.
see, during this quarantine is like the only time I have not had fingernails, and I am feeling a little naked.
Oh, here's Tony.
I'm sorry. I just sometimes people are like, "Oh, it's a shallow, play or whatever," and I'm like, it has its place though. For me, I just remember a lot of laughter, and I think that at this time, like that's the best medicine for you sometime. And anyway, this cast was phenomenal, and I got to watch a lot of it because I wasn't in a lot of it, and. Anyway, just the laughter. Just don't forget to laugh. In fact, is there any time we could laugh on like a Saturday at 7, Logan, by any chance?
I think that they should come back to watch Improvinators. Saturday at 7. You'll want to be there. You'll want to watch. Or, like I said, go and watch the stream of this show because I'm not going to take it down till tomorrow. So go watch it tonight. A Night of Kensington. I love it. All right. Remember to laugh. Anybody else? Lessons learned?
Bring Mike on. This one meant a lot to him for some reason. So
What?
I know the experience did.
Well, I mean, this play, being in this play was kind of like the beginning of the long stream of wise choices for me and my life. And I just kind of reference the memory of doing this specific thing as a very pivotal time of my life, and it was a very meaningful thing that I was involved with that kind of motivated me to keep going. So after this, I did one more show at Kensington. I did see how they run, but after that, I got back into school and kind of straightened myself out a little bit. So I found my wife that I'm married to currently, and I found my career. I'm a nurse now. So it was just one good decision in a long line of good decisions, and it means a lot that I was accepted by all of you, and I'm really glad you did this. This is great. Sorry. I have my computer on my lap here, but I really miss performing. But I feel like I did the right thing. Ended up where I am now. I don't even know why I'm crying. Like,
Okay.
I really do miss performing. It's a special thing, and I haven't been able to do it because I've been involved with school a lot, and of course work and everything. But hey, I got a 4.0 this semester. Woo-hoo! Yeah, one more semester, I'll have my bachelor's degree.
Yay. Awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, if that doesn't wrap up, I love that. And this is what theater does, and this is why we're doing Kensington Live, to connect people and then to connect audiences to great work that all of you are doing, right? Or have done, I guess, in the past. So thank you for being on with me, everybody. I'm grateful for the laughing and for all what we've talked about tonight. So if you are watching at home, go watch Voodoo You Do. If you have not watched it yet, it's still on YouTube. Kensington Theater Company. You'll find it. Go watch it. It's hilarious. All right, everybody.
I'm gonna read Dead Boyfriends.
Yeah, and then we'll do Dead Boyfriends. Okay. Everybody, help me say goodbye. I'm going to put those that aren't on the screen. But thanks for coming, everybody. Tune in on Thursday. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Some of you out. Well, I got to take a lot out. Okay, wait. Hold on.
No, we're
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Where's Jill?
Jill had to run, it says.